Justice Barrett? Justice Jackson?
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to puzzle through where you landed with Justice Kavanaugh, that Congress wanted to go back to the pre-FSIA world in this particular context, such that the president was controlling when these suits go forward and when they don't. I guess I don't understand why that doesn't put the onus on Congress even more so to be clear about its intentions in doing that in light of our clear statement rule. I mean, that's a huge thing. That's not just we want these individual suits to go forward. I hear you saying, no, what they were really trying to accomplish here was to repudiate in this particular circumstance the reason why the FSIA was put into place, which was to prevent this ad hoc president deciding when and when not to let these suits to go forward. So if Congress was really doing that, why wouldn't they have said it? Wouldn't we expect that they had to have said it in order to satisfy our clear statement rule?
I think that what Congress did is essentially exactly what they did in the Beatty case that Justice Sotomayor was reading from before, which is to say the default rule here is no sovereign immunity in this context. We are adding a waiver, an abrogation of sovereign immunity for these specific circumstances.
Okay, but first of all, they didn't say that. They didn't. Those words aren't in the statute, but that's what you're. Yes, I appreciate. I just want to be clear. They didn't say that. You're implying that they did that from saying we want these claims to go forward, right?
Yes, and then I'm saying that the waiver power on the back end is something that provides a couple of different functions. One is that it ensures that these aren't something that's actually going to slow down a transition to democracy in Cuba, make it counterproductive. And two, it makes it possible for the president to put back in this narrow category of cases the protections of sovereign immunity that for 6 months at a time. I mean, he can only suspend the ability to bring new lawsuits. He can't actually just cancel out lawsuits.
I understand, but we don't need
Once
to put
the lawsuit is filed, this is not the same as the pre-1962
I don't know. I
regime.
understand, but we don't need to put it back in if the FSIA is doing its work to begin with on the front end, and that's the question in this case. So it's just a little odd, I think.
But
I think that a lot of these arguments are really just trying to get around the fact that what the U.S. government did in this Title III action is pretty extraordinary in general, and we would have expected that if they were creating a cause of action like this, they would have addressed the sovereign immunity question. And in the absence of any statement about sovereign immunity, the question is, did they intend for the FSIA to be operating, or did they intend that by not talking about sovereign immunity, we would read this statute to necessarily mean that sovereign immunity is abrogated? And it seems to me the second is more implausible. I know what Ms. Ratner said, but it seems to me that the kind of natural way of looking at this is that when Congress was silent in Title III about abrogation of sovereign immunity against the backdrop of a statute that governs how you abrogate sovereign immunity, that it was intending to allow that statute to operate. And if it wasn't, we would have expected them to say that.
Well, and we have several different provisions that are like pulling individual provisions out of the FSIA and incorporating them here. They're doing all that. We know that Congress was legislating against the FSIA. We know the executive branch had raised concerns about going beyond the FSIA. I think that the suspension power is a way to ameliorate those concerns, those international law concerns. And I think that what it indicates is that Congress understood that this was indeed strong medicine. The poison pill that my colleague referred to earlier today is strong medicine, and if it is so strong that it might kill the patient, the president should be able to use his ability to evaluate foreign policy and what's going to happen in Cuba in order to decide we're going to pull back a little on it for 6 months at a time.
Thank you.